Hey guys, how's it going? This is Kelvin, and today I wanted to show you a very important checkmate, and that's with the king and the rook against the lone king. Okay, so the first thing you want to do in this type of an end game is cut off the king as much as possible. So you have a few different ways you can do that in this position here. You can move the rook here. As you can see, this cuts the king off and prevents him from coming this way. You can also move here, and then you see that the king can't cross this like wall that the rook has built up, so is forced to be on this side. So in this particular position, the most logical thing for you to do is going to be to move here, because you see this cuts the king off as much as possible, because now he only has these three ranks to go. Okay, and so the second thing you want to go ahead and do, let's say the king moves here. What you're going to want to do is, if your rook is attacked by the king, you're going to want to move the rook as far away as possible. And what this is called is a checking distance. So that way, in the future, if you are to check, you don't have to worry about the king moving close to the rook. So that would be our next move. Let's say the king moves here or something. Okay. So what you want to start to do now is you want to start to move the king over to the other king so that you can oppose him. Basically, you're trying to achieve this type of position. So then that way, you can move the rook and check and force the king back this way. So say you just go ahead and go there, and then naturally what somebody's going to want to try to do with their king is they're going to try to move it as close to the rook as possible to attack it. And they're hoping that maybe, somebody might do something like this, just lose their rook. But of course, we're not going to do that. So let's go back. Okay. So they're going to be moving closer, like I said. Get closer. And then, like I said, as before, you're going to move the rook as far away as possible. Now, one of the things about this end game is you can also waste a couple of tempo or a tempo, however much you need to, with your rook. This is what we call reserve tempo. So let's say the king moves over here. You go here. They move back. This is the position that you want to remember, because the kings are opposed from each other. And then now you deliver a check here, and it forces the king to move back. And then you just do the same thing. You're always trying to move your king back as close as you can to the opposing king. And so you're going to have the same dance back and forth. Moving. And then it's going to be the same thing. You're basically just going to be repeating this process over and over again. Back. And then it forces the king back there. Now he's on the edge of the board. That's your whole goal, is to get the king to one of these edges of the board. So, same thing again. You're going to be noticing a pattern with this now. Okay. Do the same thing. Move it over. And then once the king steps back in front, you have it here. And now you've delivered checkmate. I appreciate it, guys. Go ahead and subscribe and like. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to do. I'm going to put a link in the description explaining what reserve tempo means. And also, I have another video that is a king and a queen versus a lone king. So that might be helpful for you as far as this endgame is concerned too. All right, thanks guys.